So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's time to talk about episode 14, which, whoa, in my opinion, one of the best episodes so far this season. As always, I may be awake but my voice is not. As always, just before we get started, I want to remind you guys I have a Patreon where I do a whole bunch of other reactions. There's a mixture of old stuff and new stuff over there. Oh my god, lads, coffee ain't even fucking helping this raspiness. There's reactions for shows like The X-Files, Teen Wolf, Cobra Kai, Buffy, Once Upon a Time, Pam and Tommy, All of Us Are Dead, and there's movie reactions too. So the link to that's down below along with my Twitter, my Instagram and all that other stuff if you want to find me elsewhere. Let's go anyway with the chat. So I got a comment from someone and it was just basically saying, oh my god, you talk too much, so I'm fucking off. I have explained multiple times on my channel the deal with I keep my reactions under 10 minutes because of copyright. Any other reactor on this fucking platform will tell you copyright is the biggest content pain in your goddamn side. It's not a saying, but it is now. So you gotta jump through all these hoops just to make sure that your video even stays up. And the easiest way to do that is constant running commentary. Try and cut out as much of the original works as you possibly can. Keep the video transformative, keep it engaging with your audience, so it's more of like a commentary rather than just sitting staring at the screen blankly. I just can't believe that in 2022 there's still people out there that don't grasp that concept. Now granted, I know not a lot of my viewers here are members of my Patreon, but for those of you who are, ye know that my reactions that go up over on Patreon are much more natural. They flow much more better because I don't need to cut out every moment of silence, every quote unquote unimportant moment. I can leave breathing room, I can leave spaces where I don't say fucking anything in the reaction because I don't need to worry about it being flagged. I don't need to worry about there being too much audio from the show being heard. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in quickly because I do seem super talkative in my reactions because you're getting 10 minutes of a 45-minute video. You know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm going to cut out anything that's not completely necessary. Anyway, into the actual reaction. One comment that I got a lot, I can't remember if it was for this week's reaction or last one, was about the phone. So do you remember Aaron whipped his fucking phone out when he was in the room of shelved heads? He just whipped out his phone and was like, anyway, here's some pictures from where I'm from. A few people were saying it's not the first time we've seen a phone. Yes and no. The phone that Michonne found, Rick's phone that had carvings and shit on it, it wasn't turned on. The phone that Aaron had, he could straight up go through his fucking camera roll. So it was an operational phone, which is just something that we haven't seen before. The one that Michonne found, oh no, you can see my pajama pants. No, I'm totally dressed. I'm not wearing pajama bottoms. The one that Michonne found wasn't on, even though, that was an iPhone, or it was at least a smartphone. It was just weird seeing a phone screen on The Walking Dead. It was weird just seeing someone casually scroll through something. Another huge point of this episode was Negan. My dude is married and now has a little baby on the way. What in the love of fuck? I don't know, man, that feels like it's completely just out of nowhere. Like when Daryl fucked off to the forest and then we got a whole episode just about his secret forest romance. It just felt like, okay, we're not going to get no build-up. We're not getting no foreplay for this situation. We're just thrown right in. I mean, yeah, it makes sense because Negan is really adaptable and he's somebody who will just blend into his surroundings. And I guess when the world has gone to shit, you take happiness where you can get it. So if you fell in love, why not? Sure, go off and get married and make little babies. But it was just unexpected. The moment as well between baby Herschel and Negan, whoa. I mean, it was going to happen eventually, but now that Herschel knows, he knows this is the bad man. He knows this is the dude who did everything. I'm kind of surprised that Maggie didn't tell him before this. I get that she probably didn't want to confuse him because he's still a kid. He's still super young. And from a kid's point of view, it'd be like, well, why are we hanging around this bad dude if he's the one that killed my dad? Why are we here? So I guess she just wanted to just avoid that whole conversation, which is why she didn't tell him. It was interesting seeing Negan face up to the situation, and I got some comments on that Negan's the type of character who he never really hides from what he's done. He's super open about it and super yeah, I did it. Oops, I can't undo it, I'm sorry. Kind of person, which does make him interesting. And like I've said a million times before, we have seen his change. We have seen his progression throughout the show. And again, someone left a comment saying he doesn't need redemption. He doesn't need saving. He needs closure. His character arc needs closure, which I did totally agree with. I think he kind of treads the line of redemption arc thing, because not everyone wants to see a Negan redemption arc, but they do want to see him atone in ways for what he did. And I said it as well in the reaction. Like, everyone talks about Glenn. Everyone brings Glenn up every single time. No one brings up Abraham. They both got killed that night, and everyone always goes to Glenn. Whenever there's like a moment with Negan that's tense or whatever, it's always Glenn that's brought up. I just think that's shitty. Just because Glenn was with Maggie and they had a baby on the way, it doesn't make his life like any more valuable than Abraham's in the show. But Abraham's always overlooked, and that sucks. I said it as well in the video that when Herschel had the gun, it's so weird saying Herschel, isn't it? That's why I always say baby Herschel, because it's just weird. But yeah, it was seeing baby Herschel with the gun on Negan. I think there was a part of everybody that was like, just pull the fucking trigger and end the tension. Just do it. Obviously, you don't want that to actually play out, because the poor child would be fucked up for life trying to cope with something like that if he did it. But I did get some comments calling me heartless or cruel, and I'm like, how dare I have sarcastic responses to a fictional show. Him arranging the duel was funny, because he was like, look, I'm not going to fight you now because I feel like I have the height advantage. Wait till you sprout up a bit and then come get me. The fact that Negan and Maggie, though, they're getting their own spin-off show. Is there going to be a time jump? I don't really see how much more time you can jump while keeping the characters still believable in their roles. Because it's going to come to a certain point where they're not going to want to be moving around so much. They're not going to be as like agile and fit as they were when they were younger, if you keep time jumping them and aging them up. So, like, him arranging this fight with Herschel, part of me is like, he probably doesn't even think that's going to happen someday. So maybe that's why he agreed to do it or whatever, or brought it up in the first place. But the fact that him and Maggie are getting their own show. So, like, is she going to bring Herschel with them? Is she going to bring her kid? Or is this going to be a Michonne situation where she just fucking leaves and leaves her kids? Same goes for Negan. His missus is pregnant. So are him and Maggie just going to make a pact to abandon their kids and just move? I'm still, like, lost on the Michonne fucking thing. Because she straight up left. We know why she left. It was completely justifiable. She wanted to find Rick. Fine. But leaving her kids and then, like, having no contact and nobody turning around and going, lads, should we go look for Michonne? Like, what the fuck's going on? Should we go out and look for her? We didn't get any of that. Is that going to happen with Maggie and Negan? Two of the main characters are just going to slip out a side door some night and nobody's going to notice. No one's going to look up from their fucking knife sharpening sessions. Herschel will just be walking around by himself, like, motherless, and no one will even question. The girl who died in the vault during the heist, which I think was a fun thing to add. The tension that scene added with the alarm, and then you had the Walker invasion right afterwards. Wow. And it's strange to see people still caring about stupid shit like drugs or money in an apocalyptic situation. I guess it just shows you how sheltered he has been his whole life, that if things like that are still ranking high on his priority list. What was his name? It wasn't Sebastian. I don't know. The other guy. I'm terrible with names. So we got proof that Daryl's woman stole back the guns, or she's the one who took the guns to begin with. So she's planning something big. What was her name? Was it Leah? Man, I don't know. There's been so many characters introduced in the last like season and a half that it's, one, I'm bad with names anyway, and two, it's fucking hard to keep them all in line. Was it Leah? Will you just Google, please? Yeah, Leah Shaw. So her stealing the guns, I hate to say it, but like it's an I told you so kind of moment. Because I feel like even Daryl knew when he let her go. You could kind of see it. I think he was just bitter about everything that had gone down. And he was like, can we not just have a clean break, please? So I think he knew, leaving her go, that it was like, this is going to come back and bite me in the ass. This is going to come back later in some fucking capacity. And now she's coming back bigger and better with a fuck ton of weapons. She probably has another community behind her, or has gathered people to rally with her. It's not going to be good. I don't know, I guess that will make for an interesting story, but then I feel like we've seen that already. We've seen the Leah and Daryl tension. That played out. So I guess they're going to bring it back in a different way and then just probably have him kill her. Speaking of Daryl, one of my favourite moments this episode is when he went berserk when he threatened Daryl and Rosita's kids. Now yes, I know, technically RJ and Judith aren't his kids, but they are. He looks on them as his kids. He's their guardian. He's the one that looks after them full time. They're his kids now. But when your man threatened baby Coco and RJ and Judith, you could just see that switch in both Daryl and Rosita. But Daryl got up in there in his face, hands on throat, and was like, motherfucker, don't go there. A lot of people are saying that this is one of the best episodes so far this season, and like, I'm inclined to agree. I think I've said that about 2 episodes so far this season, but this one would be up on par with some of the more stronger ones. It gave us everything. It brought a lot of storylines to a close and then tied others in. I think after this one we have 2 left, and then we're finishing this chunk of the season. I don't think there's an air date for the final part. I'm guessing it's probably going to be sometime towards the end of the year, but we have like 2 left after this. So it is around this time that shit starts hitting the fan. If you look at this as a mid-season, we're gearing up to a mid-season. It's usually the episode just before the mid-season, and then the actual last episode of this part that will just kick you in the face. So it makes sense this episode was high tension, high action, lot of shit going on. And yeah, I'm just going through some of my comments right now, and a lot of people are saying that this episode has been their favourite so far. Yeah, I'm coming across comments again that are like judgy, people being like, you really wanted Herschel to kill Negan. And it's like, no, but when you're watching a show, the tension, you know what I'm saying? You see 2 characters that are having an intense standoff, and there's a part of you that's just like, do it. Do you really want this kid that doesn't even fully understand life yet to carry the weight of something that huge? No. But there's still that small part of you that's like, but you could do it. Like, every time I see Maggie anywhere around Negan, I'm like, dude, just fucking kill him and end it. But if she did, then that would take away a really big plot point of the show. It would take away a big point of tension. And now, you've got Negan married with a baby. God knows where that storyline's going to fucking end. But yeah, there's always that part of you that's just a little bit fucking psycho. Again, whatever. But yeah, that's it for this chat, you guys. Be sure to leave your thoughts, opinions, whatever down below. I know you guys did that, or a lot of you guys probably did that already on the reaction video. But if there's any points you want to touch on or expand upon, be sure to drop them in the comments. I always duck in and out of the comments just to see what's going on, what's being said. As I said at the start, the link to my Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun shit is down below if you want to connect with me somewhere else. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon.